Is this thing on? For as long as I can remember, I've always gotten a lot of satisfaction from making other people happy. The ultimate form of fulfillment to me has always been hearing 4 simple words. I'm proud of you. As a child, I started to determine my worth based on how other people perceived me or by whatever achievements I had reached. I don't really know where this people-pleasing urge directly stemmed from. A lot of people say it's eldest daughter syndrome, but I remember growing up and watching my parents defy all odds to meet the needs of everyone else before themselves, even when they didn't have much to give. And at some point, in my early childhood years, I promised myself that I would grind just as hard so I could be what my parents were to everyone else, to them. Does that make sense? I don't know. At the ripe age of maybe 9 or 10, there obviously wasn't much I could do outside of the occasional chore or watching my baby sister that would actually benefit my parents. Hell, I could barely remember to put on lotion and deodorant in the morning. That probably would have helped a little bit, but But there was one thing that came to me so naturally, and I loved watching my family's face light up anytime I'd excel in it. Academics. It's simple when you think about it, because school is so black and white, really. Since elementary, we were taught that if you get good grades, you'll get into a good college. And if you get into a good college, you'll get a good job. Some of my proudest memories took place in school. Being one of the only kids to score a perfect 4 on my STAR test essays every year. Talent shows, spelling bees, reading on a 6th grade level at 8. Girl, I was dedicated. But in that same breath, school played a huge role in lowering my self-esteem too. Because what about all the years I took tutoring for the spelling bees I didn't win? Or when 4th grade me couldn't get into the gifted and talented program and I cried myself to sleep. And in high school, I applied for the dual credit program and took the math test 3 times because I kept failing. I cried so much they eventually just let me in. I don't know if they're really allowed to do that, but looking back, all of those bad memories, they seem so minuscule and kind of stupid to be upset about. But those habits, they don't ever really leave you. I sit in front of you today as a young woman who's managed to secure her bachelor's degree at just 20 years old, graduated top 5% of my high school class, dean's list every semester in college, internships and organizations out the butt. But I still don't feel accomplished or even satisfied. I watch my degree and my diploma collect dust on my shelves as I wait for all these amazing opportunities I was promised as a scholar to magically appear. Radio silence. So, as a girl who can no longer define her success in numerical grades or A's and B's, I have one question. What the hell we gonna do now? Okay, please don't get me wrong. This is not a video about defying the concept of college. I loved college, okay? And I couldn't imagine how my life would be if I hadn't gone. The friends I made, the memories, the connections, and even the not so great experiences, they shaped me in the best ways possible. The only thing that I wish I could change is I wish I made more of those moments, Obviously, me graduating early played a huge role in this, but so did my tendency to hyper-focus on being the smartest, the most decorated, the model student. I was so consumed with chasing this end goal that I was promised after college that I didn't really take time to sit back and appreciate what I had already achieved. It wasn't until my final semester of college that I began to accept that my path wasn't going to unfold the way that I envisioned. Sure, I was offered jobs and internships, but none of them felt like the real payoff for all the work that I had put in. Telling me I've been grinding my whole life just to land an unpaid internship in a small town 800 miles away from my family. It was either that or job offers completely unrelated to my field that barely paid enough to pay rent in Houston. So it was overwhelming. I started having weekly anxiety attacks and skipping classes because it all really started to feel so pointless. And this was all happening while I was preparing for graduation season, which was supposed to be the happiest time of my life. So, despite living in a world where it seems like young people's status is defined on how quickly they can be independent, I did the only thing that felt safe and reasonable, really. I came home. And for the past 3 months, I've really struggled with finding my place outside of academics, I look into the mirror and sometimes all I see is that little girl who lost a spelling bee or that girl who couldn't get into the gifted and talented program. And I think to myself, what did I do wrong? Will all my dreams and aspirations go to waste if I take time to rest and reevaluate? If you're feeling the same way I felt or feel, I'll tell you right now, the answer is absolutely not. On one of the days I was down in the dumps, I sat down with my dad and he told me something I'll never forget. He said, Nadia, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And then I realized the reason why I watched my parents grind so hard my entire life is because they had to. You know, taking care of a newborn baby and two little boys when they were practically kids themselves. And I watched people my age discover themselves and live these independent lives so much that I convinced myself that's the only way to live. When in reality, I'm in the absolute best position I can ask for. I'm 21 with no kids, fully done with school until I say so. And I'm fortunate enough to have parents who embrace their children coming home, even if it's embarrassing to some people. So if you're in the same boat as me, or even just a relatively similar one, I hope you can realize that once you've worked so hard, it's okay to rest. And if you've met the requirements with academics and everything else, there's only one more thing to pour into until the universe throws your dream life your way. You. Every college graduate knows the infamous phrase that family and friends and everybody and their mama managed to bring up right after you walk across the stage. So, what's next? If you're anything like me, these words haunt you. Because we all know it's not ideal to tell someone, you know what? I really don't know. I think this causes a lot of post-grads to rush into finding another meter that can define or measure their success. It could be like a master's program or a last-minute career or internship. And in no way am I saying that these are bad things. And I'm not encouraging people to be unemployed, okay? I still work. And I still plan on getting my master's too. But sometimes I feel like these things are used as a method of deflection, right? This may not be the job I wanted in the slightest, but at least I get to put my degree to use. At least it'll get my family off my back and people stop asking me what I'm going to do with my degree. Or I didn't really want to get my master's just yet, but I'm going to go to school so it gives me more time to think. And you know what? I get it. It feels safer to keep chasing the next milestone because that's what we've been trained to do our entire lives. But at some point, you have to stop asking yourself what's next and start asking yourself, what do I need right now? Number 1, rest, regulate, and reflect. I saw a quote a while ago that kind of stuck with me for some reason. And it read, when you're at rest, you stop running away from yourself and your life. For me, deflection and rushing into the next thing is a direct result of my anxiety. So one thing I've been trying to do post-grad is regulate my nervous system. For the past 18 years or so, we've been conditioned to work on a time crunch, right? This assignment is due on this date, or you have this much time to take this exam, or you need to do so-and-so and so-and-so before graduating. It had gotten so bad to where, like, as a kid, I'd be like, I need to graduate at this point so I can get married at this point and have kids at this point and do this at this point. When that's not how you're supposed to live. These habits of being on a time crunch have literally transferred into my daily life, you know? So much so that I'll catch myself rushing to get out the house fast, driving fast to get to where I need to be until I realize there's no reason for me to be rushing, like, at all. So now, instead of moving so fast all the time, I've been trying to be more intentional. Don't rush in the morning to get ready. Set your alarm a couple minutes earlier and give yourself time to move at a normal pace. I've been trying to talk slower, drive slower, sit back and realize that whatever's waiting for me, for us, will be there, no matter when you get there. In those moments, you catch yourself having more time to breathe and think. It gives you the chance to be with your mind and your nervous system. And the moment you stop letting time determine how your day goes, you'll progressively start to take control over your life again. Number 2. Start giving yourself exactly what you deserve. Stop waiting on people to treat you right. Stop waiting for the job you've dreamed of to hand you an opportunity. Sometimes you just got to create it for yourself. Now, I know that sounds way easier said than done, especially coming from someone who kind of wants to excel in a more creative space. With a journalism degree, there are a million ways for me to grow my own brand organically. But obviously, if your dream is to become like a nurse or a lawyer or an engineer, those aren't careers that you can just DIY into existence overnight. What you can do, though, is start with the way that you treat yourself. If you begin pouring into yourself, showing yourself the same patience, love, and respect that you want from other people, you'll notice a shift. Your confidence will radiate so strongly that people won't have a choice but to see your value. And sometimes that shift in how you carry yourself is the very thing that opens those doors. It's not always about that external stamp of approval. It's about building yourself up so solidly that the world has no option but to catch up to you. As a socially awkward girl, some of the ways I've been training myself to boost my confidence have started off very small. You know, instead of waiting to be asked on a date or to hang out, I take myself on solo dates. And when I'm out and I see something that I want and I have a little money to spare, I buy it. I stopped speaking so negatively of myself, even if it's a joke. I used to get tired of posting on Instagram because I thought to myself, like, I've been posting too much. Nobody's going to want to see this. They're going to be tired of me. But, like, who cares? It's my Instagram. I look good. I'm going to post it. I told myself a while ago that I was going to get back into dancing because I really want to go to KCON. But for months, I shied away from posting actual dance videos on TikTok and stuff because I didn't feel like I was good enough. Then one day I was just like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to do this cat's eye dance. I'm going to learn the choreography and I'm going to post it. And now it's sitting at 1.3 million views. And all the dance videos I posted after have garnered more views than any of my dance videos have ever gotten, with people commenting and saying like, girl, I didn't even know you could dance like this. And you know, I've always had it in me. Nothing has changed about my ability to dance. That stayed the same. I just stopped becoming afraid to show it. And now that I'm not afraid to show it, people genuinely see me as a good dancer. So eradicate those self-deprecating thoughts that convince you that you can't do what you want or get what you want or look how you want. Because even when you do get that dream job, because you will, if you're not sure of yourself, you'll still feel the exact same way you felt when you didn't have the job. Because you're still waiting on someone or something to define your worth. Number 3, give yourself small, attainable goals. When you're fresh out of school, it's easy to feel like every goal has to be massive. Your first full-time job, your first apartment, your first real adult milestones. But sometimes the best way to rebuild that momentum is by starting small. That way you still have that satisfaction of completing something, but it's not as daunting and it's not defined by your status. When I came home from college and started working from home a little bit, I still felt really unaccomplished every single day, you know, seeing my mom and dad go to work and my sisters have their own respective things that need to be done. So I started doing a to-do list with the same tasks that I do every day, sprinkle in some new things here and there, and just checking off those things gives me the satisfaction of knowing that I still did something today. This summer, I decided to make my fitness goals my number one target, and I've been trying to exercise a lot more, and even like goals as small as like today I'm going to do this many more reps, or today I'm going to run my mile in this much time. It gives you a sense of accomplishment, just realizing how much you're really capable of if you push yourself. And I still feel like those same qualities that you learn from completing the smallest, most mundane goals, they just apply to your everyday life, and they'll apply to your career too. I definitely feel that way. So, you know, give yourself goals that are realistic and attainable, even if they feel minor in comparison to the bigger picture that you want to achieve one day. But for you, it could be as simple as finishing a book or sticking to your morning routine or finally setting up whatever Pilates class you want to go to, because I know I've been blowing off my membership. I've been running outside. I don't really want to pay for that. These little wins, I feel like they stack up and they slowly rebuild your confidence, reminding you that progress doesn't always have to come from life-changing events. It can start today. And lastly, pour into your passions. Jobs cannot define us. You know, we live in a world where you can pour everything into your career, and the second you make the smallest mistake or call in sick, you can be replaced. This is corporate America we're talking about. That's why it's important to nurture passions that belong entirely to you. Whether it's painting, you might want to be a Twitch streamer, you might want to cook or write or make videos like me. These things allow you to reclaim your sense of identity outside of your career. And that's kind of why I wanted to start this new channel. I've been passionate about journalism my entire life. And despite how hard it's been to break into the traditional journalism scene post-grad, there are still stories that I want to tell, things I want to try, and experiences that I want to share with the world. And I don't want to wait to be where I want to be in life to finally share these things, you know? And who knows, maybe one day a big company will come and give me the platform I've always wanted so I can finally attain all of my dreams. But until then, I feel like I want to build my own table instead of waiting for a seat at someone else's. And hopefully we can feel that way together and maybe build towards our goals together. I hope you guys are ready to follow me along on this new journey, because I'm definitely excited. And don't forget, it's okay to say you don't know what's next, because I don't. But I think it's more fun that way. We'll see where it takes us.